Everyone knows the dinner party joke about Range Rovers. They look beautiful sitting in your driveway, and they look even better sitting in the dealer's service bay for 3 weeks at a time. That reputation was earned 20 years ago. The L322 generation was notorious for leaving drivers stranded with catastrophic transmission failures right out of the gate. Now look at the 2026 Range Rover Sport SV Edition 2. It pushes 626 horsepower from a massive twin-turbo V8, and it is engineered to completely dominate a mountain road. This creates a serious dilemma for buyers. You want that speed and prestige, but you're terrified you're buying a six-figure headache. Getting one right now is its own challenge. A recent cybersecurity hack at Jaguar Land Rover severely crippled production. If you order today, you are likely staring at a waitlist stretching well into the first or second quarter of 2026. Federal data reveals that the era of catastrophic transmission and steering failures is over, replaced by a new pattern of software bugs and electronic glitches. Buying one of these without a specific strategy for how long you plan to keep it is a blind financial gamble. To understand the actual risk, we have to look at the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's complaint database. This line graph tracks federal complaints by model year. Look at the massive spikes on the left. The L322 generated hundreds of complaints, mostly for transmission blowouts, and the L405 that followed was plagued by severe steering rack defects. But as we extend the timeline to the current L460 generation, the complaint line plummets. It flatlines at a fraction of the historical average. We are seeing this drop because the core hardware has finally matured, and Land Rover drastically simplified their engine lineup down to just 4 main choices. Earlier generations launched with immediate, widespread mechanical disasters. The current generation has a remarkably clean early life track record by comparison. The data points toward a new reality. You are trading old mechanical failures for modern digital headaches. The new friction comes from software bugs and inconsistent factory assembly. The federal numbers show the old joke is obsolete. The real question is whether you are willing to manage the vehicle's new digital quirks. Your exact experience with this SUV will depend entirely on which engine you check on the order sheet. The P400 Inline-6 is the volume seller. It is a mild hybrid, and it's the most stable choice they offer. In its first year, it generated a modest 14 federal complaints. By year 2, that number dropped to single digits. It is a known, reliable commodity. This table compares powertrain options. Early 2023 V8 models used the BMW N63, racking up 20 complaints in 1 year for brake and software glitches. In 2024, Land Rover swapped to the BMW S68, and the complaint rate immediately dropped to single digits. If you buy the SV Edition 2, you get a highly tuned 626 horsepower variant. You buy this engine for raw speed, not for statistical stability. Your engine choice dictates how many times you will be sitting in the service lounge waiting for a software patch. For risk-averse buyers, the P400 or the newer S68 V8 are the clear choices. Mechanical reliability is only half the ownership experience. You also have to live inside Land Rover's new, modern luxury design philosophy. For 2026, they have entirely eliminated physical climate and volume knobs. The result is a striking, ultra-minimalist cabin covered in carbon fiber, anchored by one floating screen. In practice, that screen can be laggy. Adjusting the AC now requires you to take your eyes off the road, a design choice that actively frustrates longtime owners. Beyond the interface, the current platform struggles with lingering quality control issues on the assembly line. Since 2023, there have been 12 active federal recall campaigns. That means mandatory trips to the dealer to get things fixed. 4 recalls were for oil leaks, from cracked filter housings to unsecured hoses. 2 others were for rear-view cameras failing, from water ingress or overheating. The active hydraulic dampers effectively mask the vehicle's 5,000-pound weight in corners, but this requires tolerating significant digital friction and a busy recall schedule. Buying a 2026 Range Rover comes down to one single variable: your specific ownership timeline. This flowchart breaks down 3 typical buyer profiles. First is the 3-year leaser, often a business owner utilizing Section 179 tax deductions for immediate prestige and performance. For this profile, buy the SV Edition 2 or V8 Autobiography. The factory warranty absorbs the financial risk of oil leaks and software updates. When the lease ends in 36 months, you simply hand the keys back before heavy maintenance bills arrive. Second is the 5 to 7 year optimizer. You want the luxury, but you refuse to pay massive out-of-pocket repair costs when things break. You should buy the P400 Inline 6 or the newer S68 V8, but you have one strict requirement. You must purchase the extended factory warranty. Once the standard coverage expires, you need to explicitly budget $1,000 to $1,500 annually for scheduled maintenance. Third is the 10-year buyer, who wants to buy a vehicle once and drive it for a decade with minimal maintenance. Skip the 2026 Range Rover. The data is too young to predict how complex electronics and air suspension will behave in 15 years. If you are shopping for decade-plus durability, you need to look at Japanese competitors, specifically the Lexus LX600. Matching your ownership window to the vehicle's data profile is the only way to ensure performance outweighs the maintenance costs of a $150,000 asset.